Hello, I'm Simon Whistler. You're watching TopTenzNet, and in the video today we're looking at the top 10 horrifyingly bad teachers. Number 10. Don't drink and teach. Do as I say, not as I do must have been the motto of Toro Canyon Middle School teacher Tonya Neff. The Southern California teacher was arrested in 2010 for teaching while intoxicated. School administrators reported Neff after students noted her erratic behavior. After her booking, the sheriff released a statement saying that Neff had mixed prescription drugs with alcohol and that she was being held for felony child endangerment. On the bright side, the middle school teacher must have left an unwavering impact on students on the ramifications of alcohol consumption. Hopefully, the trials of their former teacher kept a few of them from experimenting until they turned 21. Number 9. 2 teachers, 1 student. A smaller student-teacher ratio is certainly a good thing in most cases. More individual attention, a specialized learning environment, and less stress on the teachers are just some of the benefits. In New Orleans, a student would receive none of those benefits and instead would become the victim of a sexual crime. In 2015, Shelley Dufresne and Rachel Respers, former teachers at Destrehan High School, were arrested for having sex with a 16-year-old student. According to reports, Dufresne had an ongoing affair with the students. Somehow, when Respers learned of this behavior, instead of reporting it, she decided to join in. Allegations hold that Respers offered her apartment for the encounter where a threesome took place. After more than 40 sexual encounters between student and teacher, the crimes were finally brought to light. Dufresne, a wife and mother of 3, would admit to having sex with the student, eventually accepting a plea deal for the charge of obscenity. Number 8. Wrong type of cheerleading. Shelley Jo Duncan, an Oklahoma cheerleading coach, was arrested last year for inappropriate contact with a child. The 48-year-old woman was booked into Johnson County Jail on charges of lewd or indecent proposals with a child under the age of 16. To make matters worse, Duncan herself was a mother and wife of the school's superintendent. Released documents give insight into the perverse relationship. "You have no idea what you mean to me," Duncan wrote the student. "I'm here for the rest of your life. I can't imagine my life without you in it." Other messages released revealed Duncan's plans for future sexual encounters, including her wish to give him oral sex with a cough drop in her mouth. Thankfully, the young boy's mother was able to get wind of the relationship and reported Duncan to the police. Despite the seriousness of the accusations against her, Duncan managed to somehow get designated paid leave. One can't help but wonder if her husband being the superintendent had anything to do with that. Number 7. Cursing at students isn't motivational. The stress and anxiety that comes with teaching is hard to fully understand unless one spends a day in the classroom. And although students may do things that get on a teacher's last nerve, a teacher must always maintain the higher ground. An unidentified Baltimore City teacher lost hers when she started yelling expletives at her students. Unbeknownst to her, an iPhone camera rolled as she hauled a student out of her classroom by force. The teacher then turned her attention to the students, yelling that they are, well, something that I'm not going to repeat. The video went viral shortly after it was posted, generating more than 1 million views. After viewing the video, the CEO of Baltimore City Schools said she was appalled by it and subsequently dismissed the teacher. Number 6. Gym class went a little too far. Arguably the most scandalous case on our list goes to Pamela Rogers Turner, a former beauty queen and elementary teacher who admitted to having sex with a 13-year-old boy. Like Shelley Jo Duncan, Turner was not a typical classroom teacher, as she taught gym at Centertown Elementary in Tennessee. Police reports reveal that it was in gym class where the affair began with the student. A married woman, Turner began messaging the young boy saying, "I think you're cute," to which he responded, "I think you're hot." In 2005, Turner would invite the young boy back into her home, beginning an ongoing affair, which even had the gym teacher venturing to his home for sex. The relationship got serious enough that the boy dumped his girlfriend to spend time with Turner. Eventually, rumors of an affair spread throughout the community, culminating with an anonymous tip sent in to the police. In February 2005, Turner was arrested and charged with statutory rape and sexual battery charges. Somehow, after taking a plea, she was only made to serve 6 months of an 8-year prison sentence. The punishment did not have its intended effect. After only 1 month of freedom, Turner faced new charges for sexting the same boy and later admitted to sending him sexually explicit videos and nude selfies. Turner was sent back to prison and served 6 years. Number 5. Parents' blessing. Our list continues with an even more bizarre case of sexual misconduct. A Texas teacher was sentenced to 10 years in prison after admitting to having sex with her 13-year-old student, and eventually Alexandria Vera was impregnated by the boy. Vera would reveal that she initially rejected the student's advances before succumbing to temptation. According to court documents, the couple had sex every day for 9 months, with Vera even allowing the student's family to move into her house. The ruse also included the boy's family, who approved of the relationship, with the boy's father going along with the deception by pretending to be Vera's boyfriend. One of the most disturbing parts of the case involves Vera's 6-year-old daughter. The young girl, seemingly aware of the arrangement, began to call her mother's 13-year-old lover Dad. Called to defend Vera, a mental health counselor stressed Vera's turbulent childhood, which was greatly affected by domestic abuse. The mental health counselor testified that she thought Vera was someone who simply needed love. The judge was unconvinced, and Vera was sentenced to serve at least 5 of the 10-year term before becoming eligible for parole. Number 4. Calling in a bomb threat. It's hard not to feel a little bit of sympathy for graduate student Nancy Bruni. Tasked with teaching her first class at the University of Pittsburgh, Bruni made 2 bomb threats so classes would be cancelled. Bruni was so unnerved about teaching the prospective classes that she not only called in a threat, but left a note about a bomb in the campus restroom. According to the campus newspaper, the University of Pittsburgh police received a call from a woman who said, "This is kind of strange, but I received a message on my phone that 2 explosions were going to go off tonight at Pozvar, one at 6:30 and again at 7:30. Not very well versed in the art of deception, Bruni's phone call was easily traced, and she was later interrogated by the police. She would then confess to making both threats, stating that she suffers from anxiety, depression, and obsessive-compulsive disorder. As a result of her health insurance coming to an end, she was forced to stop taking her medication. Bruni cited her anxiety as being the motivation for making the bomb threats, being at such unease that she felt compelled to make a second threat after the university did not cancel her class after her first attempt. Students eventually found out about the bomb threat and became angry themselves that class was not cancelled under these circumstances, ironically giving Bruni the excuse she needed to cancel the class. The bomb threat did eventually elicit a response from the school. Pitt spokesman John Fidele said police searched the building with a bomb-sniffing dog and explosive detectors, but didn't alert students because the threats were deemed lower level. Somehow Bruni wasn't arrested. Seemingly the police must have felt sympathy, as we did, for her condition. Number 3. Know the law. Lee Shipman, a former Brunswick County teacher charged with statutory rape and taking indecent liberties with a student, had the case dropped because of some nifty legal work. North Carolina law states that a husband does not have to testify against his wife, and thus the state had no choice but to dissolve the case. The 42-year-old Shipman was a married woman of nearly 2 decades before she divorced her husband and married her 17-year-old student, Johnny Ray Eisen. Surprisingly, Eisen's mother agreed to sign the consent papers allowing the two to get married. As we said in the previous paragraph, now that the two were married, the student/husband could not be compelled to testify against the 42-year-old teacher. The affair began when Eisen was just 15 years old. Number 2. Happily ever after. Our most stunning case actually has what one could call a happy ending. Mary Kay Letourneau, a 6th grade teacher in Washington, noticed that one of her students, Vili Falau, was a gifted artist and began helping him to develop his drawing skills. According to Letourneau, on one late night, the relationship turned physical, as an innocent kiss turned into much more. Their first sexual encounter took place in 1996 when Letourneau, a married mother of 4, was 34, while Falau was just 13. The police were made aware of the sexual abuse and arrested Letourneau, with her pleading guilty of 2nd-degree child rape. At the time of her sentencing, she was pregnant with Falau's child and would later give birth to their first daughter when she was out on bail. Letourneau was given a lenient sentence of just 6 months, with the condition that she was to avoid any further contact with Falau. And we can all guess what happens next. Weeks later, Letourneau and Falau were having sex in her car, and she later became pregnant with their second child. She was subsequently sentenced to an additional 7.5 years and gave birth to another daughter. In an interview with Barbara Walters, Falau remarked how difficult being a father at an early age was. "It was a huge change in my life for sure. I don't feel like I had the right support or the right help behind me. From my family, from anyone in general. I mean, my friends couldn't help me because they had no idea what it was like to be a parent. I mean, because we were 14. 15. Somehow, the time apart and the age difference did not stop the former teacher and students, because when Les Arnaud was finally released from prison, they got married. The couple have defied all odds and have remained married for more than a decade. Number 1. There will be blood. We saved the most tragic case on our list, which involved the death of 18-year-old high school senior Sean Powell at the hands of his teacher's husband, for last. In an amazing twist, the cuckolded Eric McLean was able to convince a jury that the death of Powell was an accident brought on after he caught his wife with the young man in his home. According to McLean, he tried calling 911 to get Powell to leave the property, but then resorted to grabbing a rifle to scare him. Eventually, he pointed it at Powell, but Powell mocked him and grabbed the rifle by the barrel. When Powell pulled on the rifle, it went off. Despite being found not guilty for the first-degree murder charges, McLean was found guilty of reckless homicide. He testified that he hoped that he would be able to be reunited with his children, who his wife whisked away after Powell's death. On the other hand, Erin Moline believed that her husband's act was premeditated murder. She alleges that her husband knew about her affair with Powell and that the two had a twisted relationship. We will never know the truth as to what happened in this love triangle, but it sure does have the makings of a Hollywood movie. So I really hope you liked that video. If you did, please do hit that thumbs up button below, and don't forget to subscribe for brand new videos just like this every day of the week. Also over there on the right, a couple of other videos that you might enjoy if you enjoyed this one, and thank you for watching.